I'm Akira,
and you're watching
Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? I'm gonna tell you guys right now, things are getting serious. With the emergence of Gennady Golovkin on the scene, things are getting serious. Andre Ward just recently did an interview with the extremely biased Jim Lampley, or I should say he did an interview on Jim Lampley's show, The Fight Game. And now he has this chick on the show that's a new addition. I don't know how long she's been on the show. I don't watch the show. I just seen a clip of the interview on a boxing website. Now what's so crazy is with this extremely biased chick that's working with Jim Lampley, now the whole setup sounds and looks just like Fox News. I'm telling you, it's like a spitting image of Fox News. So anyway, they interview Andre Ward, and I had to hear this. I'm like, let me hear what they're about to say to Andre Ward, because I already knew it was going to be all the same decaf talking points. The hypocrisy of it all is unbelievable, guys. It is unbelievable. So this female, she starts off the interview trying to discredit Andre Ward with the same typical talking points. She's talking about his inactivity, right? She's talking about his inactivity. Then they start talking about the lawsuit that Ward had with Goosen, etc., etc. And Andre Ward is explaining what happened. He talks about the cancellation of the Alexander Brand fight on the Canelo versus Cotto undercard. Now this is when the interviewer starts to contradict herself. Keep in mind, at the beginning of this interview, this lady is trying to discredit Andre Ward for being inactive, talking about how many fights he's had in a certain amount of time, etc., right? Then she says, you signed a contract to fight Sergey Kovalev by the end of 2016. She says, why don't you fight him right now? Why are you waiting? Why don't you just fight him right now? Like, what's the holdup, right? Now, right before that question, she had just talked about how inactive Andre Ward was. So if you are saying that Andre Ward is inactive, why do you turn around and then say, why don't you jump up to 175 and fight Sergey Kovalev right now? So let me get this straight. So when Andre Ward was calling out Gennady Golovkin because Golovkin said that he was ready to move up to 168 and fight Froch and Chavez Jr., when Ward was ready to fight Golovkin, how come the Fight Game didn't have Golovkin on their show? How come they weren't saying, you're talking about going up to 168 and fighting Carl Froch, a guy that Andre Ward already beat? Why don't you fight Andre Ward right now? How come they didn't ask Golovkin that question? One more time. It was Gennady Golovkin's people who said that they can go all the way up to 175 pounds. I still have the interview. I interviewed Abel Sanchez. He told me, yeah, eventually Golovkin is going to have to go up to 175 because he's sparring with cruiserweights and he's beating up on them easy. This is what Golovkin's trainer told me, okay? So you have Golovkin who's talking about moving up to 168, but he doesn't want to fight against Andre Ward. And the same fans, the same people from this TV show are the people who didn't want Golovkin to fight Andre Ward. But they want Andre Ward to hurry up and fight Sergey Kovalev. Since when does a person sign a contract to fight someone and you still complain when it comes to how quick he should fight the guy? I haven't seen Golovkin sign no contract to fight Andre Ward by the end of 2016, right? I mean, this shit is extremely offensive, man. This is extremely offensive as far as I'm concerned. You know, these ignorant ass dcafs, they'll try to make it seem like this is about Andre Ward. This ain't about Andre Ward. This is about the coincidentalists. And you know what I mean. This is about the fact that my man Andre Ward, he ain't got his damn hope insurance, so he's not covered. And when you're not covered, this is how you are treated. Andre Ward calls out Gennady Golovkin. And the only reason he called out Golovkin is because Golovkin said he'll fight anybody from 154 to 175. Right? That's why Andre Ward called him out. Ever since Andre Ward called out this man, Gennady Golovkin, these fans have been going in on Andre Ward like he is the most hated man in the sport of boxing. What a coincidence. What a coincidence, right? This man, Andre Ward, has beat 3 fighters that were considered pound for pound the best fighters in the world within his career already. That alone is something that not too many fighters today can say they have done. There's not too many fighters that have beat any fighters on the pound for pound top 10 list. Now Andre Ward is about to fight another guy on that list, and this will be the most dangerous one because this guy is bigger. He's naturally bigger than Andre Ward. He has long arms. He knows how to box. He's not just a one-dimensional fighter. So this is really a serious test. Okay? And yet, Andre Ward, he could have did exactly what Golovkin is doing right now. Andre Ward could have said, nah, you know what? I'm just going to continue to fight like David Lemieux and Willie Monroe's, and maybe one day I'll fight Sergey Kovalev. But oh, no, I'm not going to sign no contract and, be obligated to fight this guy. I'm not going to do that because I'm not ready for him yet. Since when does a fighter vacate his belt at one division to move up to a higher weight class, sign a contract to fight the best fighter in that division, and fans have the nerves to say that he's afraid? He's afraid to fight Sergey Kovalev even though he signed the contract? That is extremely offensive to me, guys. And you know what I'm talking about. This shit is offensive. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. This shit is offensive to any person who's on a coincidental list. All right? This shit ain't about Andre Ward. This ain't about Floyd Mayweather. This ain't about Guillermo Rigondeaux. This is about the coincidental list in a whole. He signs the contract, but he's afraid. I'm getting sick of this shit, y'all. This is annoying. This is highly, highly offensive. Edislani Lara just recently said again, we want to move up to 160 after this fight. We want to fight Gennady Golovkin. We want to seek tougher challenges. That's what they pretty much said. And you have fans saying, oh, they don't really mean that. Really, they're scared. They don't really mean that. Since when do we ever accuse a fighter who's calling someone out afraid of the guy that he is aggressively calling out? Does that make any sense? I'm telling you, man, history repeats itself. History repeats itself. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and play this clip for you guys so you guys really know what time it is.
When Jim Corbett, the man who took the heavyweight title from John L. Sullivan, had displayed some of the same defensive skills as Jack Johnson did, sports writers praised him as the cleverest man in boxing, Gentleman Jim. But when Johnson fought that way, he was said to be lazy, shiftless, showing the yellow streak which all African Americans were supposed to share.
With black boxers, every trait that was a positive trait, they tried to turn it into a negative trait. If a black boxer was tough and could withstand punishment, well, he could withstand punishment because his skull was thicker, because he was insensitive to pain. That it really was a sign of some larger inferiority. If he was a smart boxer, a wily boxer, then he was slightly deceptive. There was something untrustworthy about his activity in the ring.
Did you hear what he said? He said these racist fans would accuse black fighters of having a permanent yellow streak down their back. So what does it mean when only black fighters call out a fighter and they're still accused of being scared? Right? What does it mean when Andre Ward signs a contract to fight Kovalev, oh, but he's still afraid? He still wants to fight bums. He just wants easy fights, and he just wants to cherry pick because he's so afraid. Oh, okay, so you're saying that Gennady Golovkin was a cherry pick then, right? You're saying that Golovkin was just a weak-ass cherry that was going to get busted if he would have gotten in the ring with Andre Ward. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? So Andre Ward can call out Golovkin, and then you hypocritical-ass fans will beg Andre Ward to leave Golovkin alone. Soon as Andre Ward leaves him alone, you turn around and start calling Andre Ward the coward. When we know that Andre Ward is going to I'm not even going to say probably. When we know that Andre Ward is going to be facing another top 10 pound for pound fighter before Gennady Golovkin does. Have you guys even asked yourself that question? By the end of 2016, who do you think would have faced a better competition out of Andre Ward and Gennady Golovkin? Remember this, guys. Andre Ward has agreed to go up to a higher weight class and fight the best fighter in the division. Gennady Golovkin, he wanted to go up to a higher weight class and pick and choose. And understand something, it's nothing wrong with, I wanted to see the Golovkin versus Froch fight. I really did. I thought that was going to be a big fight. And this is what I love about YouTube. Everything that I say is documented. You guys can go back and watch my old videos. When Carl Froch first talked about possibly fighting Gennady Golovkin, I made a video talking about how stoked I was about that fight, about a possible fight between the two, right? I wanted to see the fight. I thought it was a great test for Gennady Golovkin. But when Froch falls out, you still have the guy who beat Froch. Why don't you fight him? Oh, but now you can't fight Carl Froch, so now you go back to the excuse, oh, I'm just trying to clean up the middleweight division. Right? Now, what's so crazy about this is recently, after Golovkin or Team Golovkin said, we just want to clean up the middleweight division, first. Keep in mind, before he said that, he was calling out super middleweights. Everyone but Andre Ward. After he said that, then later on, they say it again. We still want to fight Carl Froch. We're still interested in the Carl Froch fight. So they can't even use the excuse that Golovkin is just trying to clean up the middleweight division. No, Golovkin is trying to secure a victory. He's trying to secure that undefeated record. He's trying to guarantee a win is what he's trying to do. They don't care if they fight at 154 or 168. Hell, as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't be surprised if Golovkin would be willing to go up to 175 and fight if it was the right opponent. If David Lemieux was at 175, Golovkin would fight at 175. Do you guys know that if Golovkin would have stepped his game up, took the challenge, and fought against Andre Ward, there would be nobody talking about what's the hold up and criticizing who Andre Ward faces or even criticizing who Golovkin faces. There would be none of this talk. There's only one person that stood in the way of that fight taking place, and that is Gennady Golovkin. Right? That's Gennady Golovkin. There are only two fighters that are considered pound for pound top 3 best in the world that was even close to Golovkin's division. When I say Floyd Mayweather, who actually wasn't even that close to Golovkin's division, but he was probably the closest. Next, and number 1 would have obviously been Andre Ward. The point that I'm making is Floyd Mayweather is retired. So the only fighter Gennady Golovkin could have faced that would solidify his status as pound for pound top 2, one of the best fighters in the world, is Andre Ward. What's so crazy about this is why you can't really take what dcafs say too serious. Because if you watch the recent interviews that I've done, especially the recent video where I had a compilation of multiple boxers and trainers giving their take on Gennady Golovkin, fighters and trainers of different races, different nationalities, white, black, Russians, all saying the exact same thing that I am saying to you when it comes to Gennady Golovkin. So you can't even play the race card. You can't even play the race card. Oh, you blacks all the same. Oh, you blacks this and that. You can't even say that. Because it's white people saying it. It's Russians saying it. Right? They're saying the same thing about Gennady Golovkin. Why doesn't he fight Andre Ward? He needs to step up in competition. Listen, you can make all the excuses in the world you want to make, but the bottom line is, Gennady Golovkin is 34 years old, and the best opponent on his record is David Lemieux. Now, yeah, we can sit here and we could say some of that is not Golovkin's fault. There are some fighters that he did want to fight. Like Golovkin, he wanted to fight Peter Quillin. And it was Peter Quillin who wasn't interested, right? That's not Golovkin's fault. He wanted to fight Carl Froch. Froch didn't want the fight. That's not Golovkin's fault. But this is when you say, you know what? The best fighter in the world, pound for pound, even if you want to call him number 1, number 2, even if you want to say number 3, He wants to fight me. So why don't I go ahead and just fight him? Because this is what fighters usually do. I've said it before and I'll continue to say it. When Guillermo Rigondeaux was at 118, he chased Donaire up to 122. Rigo wasn't a 122-pound fighter. He was a small 118-pound fighter. But he chased Donaire to 122 because he knew that Donaire was considered pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world. That was Guillermo Rigo's gold medal for the professional rankings, right? Andre Ward practices what he preaches. He calls out Golovkin. Golovkin doesn't want to fight him. Fans start creating distractions, saying, why don't you move up and fight Sergey Kovalev and leave Golovkin alone? Andre Ward signs a contract and that's what he does. He agrees to fight Sergey Kovalev, the best fighter in the world at that division. How come Golovkin can't do the same thing, guys? His trainer said he's beating up cruiserweights in sparring. His trainer said he should move up to 175. He's going to have to move up to 175 eventually. That's what his trainer said. But he can't fight the best fighter at 168? Oh, but he can fight the Willie Monroes. He can fight the David Lemieux until he's, what, 50-0? It's not making any sense. It's not making any sense. So if Andre Ward is supposed to be this coward with this permanent yellow streak going down his back, what does that make Gennady Golovkin? Because didn't the coward call out Golovkin? And didn't Golovkin turn down a fight against the coward? Didn't the fans say, I don't want you to fight that guy, Andre Ward? Didn't almost every professional boxer and trainer pick Andre Ward to beat Gennady Golovkin? But now you say that Andre Ward is a coward? These are all code words, guys. These are all code words. Do any of you guys remember the Tanya Harding story? Well, for those of you guys who don't remember, Tanya Harding was a figure skater. She was a very accomplished figure skater. She had already went to the Olympics a couple times. She was one of the best figure skaters in the country. Now, one year she had a competitor by the name of Nancy Kerrigan, who was her best competition and quite frankly was a threat to Tanya Harding possibly losing future competitions. So you know what Tanya Harding did? She physically sabotaged Nancy Kerrigan. You know how she did it? She actually hired someone to go to Nancy Kerrigan's training camp and try to break her leg so she wouldn't be able to compete in a tournament that they were both going to be competing in, the national championships. So with Nancy Kerrigan being injured, by the way, her leg wasn't broken, it was just bruised, but she had to withdraw from the competition. With her out, Tanya Harding ended up winning the national championships, and they both end up going to the Olympics. Of course, they found out later on that it was Tanya Harding that orchestrated the entire hit on Nancy Kerrigan. The point that I'm making, guys, by telling you this is exactly what they are trying to do to Andre Ward. The media is putting a hit out on Andre Ward They are trying to make him as irrelevant as possible because he is the biggest threat to Gennady Golovkin. This is exactly what they are trying to do. All this inactive and now he's a coward. He should leave Golovkin alone and go fight a bigger guy at a higher weight class. And then once he leaves him alone, they still throw insults by saying that he's still afraid. He's still got that permanent yellow streak down his back, even though he's already agreed to fighting Kovalev. They're trying to make Andre Ward as irrelevant as possible because he is a threat to Gennady Golovkin. They put a hit out on Andre Ward. But you know what, guys? It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. You can try your best to assassinate Andre Ward's character, but there's one thing you will not be able to do, and that is take away his talent in the ring. You can protect Gennady Golovkin all you want, but one thing you will not be able to do is make Gennady Golovkin a better fighter. You could say whatever you want outside of the ring, but that doesn't make him better. I said something very similar when they were trying to assassinate Guillermo Rigondeaux's character. Notice the pattern. Andre Ward is hated just because he called out Gennady Golovkin. Guillermo Rigondeaux, he was hated because he beat Nonito Donaire. And this is what they tried to do. They tried to assassinate his character. After he beats the shit out of Nonito Donaire, damn near breaks his eye socket. Donaire is 20 pounds bigger, damn near, than Guillermo Rigo. Rigo lands more punches and throws more punches than Donaire, but then they want to accuse Rigo of being boring. He's too boring, etc., etc. Oh no, but the guy who landed less punches and just stood in front of Rigo half the night without even really engaging Nonito Donaire, he's not the boring one, but Rigo is the boring one. Cold words, man. You're hated after you do something good. How many times have you ever seen a fighter who wasn't on the coincidental list get punished for finishing first, getting first place? How often do you see that? Right? When you're on the coincidental list, we see it all the time. Guillermo Rigondeaux gets first place, and he does it in impressive fashion. He was punished after he beat Nonito Donaire. Floyd Mayweather, he beats the quote-unquote fighter of the decade, 8-time champion in 8 different divisions. The guy who they said right before the fight was pound for pound, number 2, number 3, the best fighter in the world. Floyd beats that guy, and he's ridiculed. So I ask the question one more time. Can you guys recall a fighter who is not on the coincidental list that was punished for beating a pound for pound top 10 champion? I ain't gonna even sit around and wait for you to try to come up with an answer, because there ain't one. I'll close with saying this, and I'm gonna make a video about this question I'm gonna ask you right now. Where do you guys see Golovkin at 2 years from now? Where do you guys see Andre Ward at 2 years from now? We already know that Andre Ward is fighting against, pound for pound, the best fighter at 175, which is Sergey Kovalev. Where's Golovkin going to be at? Is he going to fight someone who's on that level? Is he going to fight a fighter who's pound for pound top 5, one of the best in the world by 2016? Because he sure ain't signed no contract to fight one yet. Right? Who is he going to fight? So by the end of 2016, who will have the better resume? I mean, we can even ask right now who has the better resume, right? Even right now, Andre Ward's resume is 10 times better than Gennady Golovkin's. Like I said, Andre Ward has beat top 10 pound-for-pound champions. Gennady Golovkin has never done that. I want to see it. He's never done it. That's all I got for now.
This is
I'm on to
Bobby,
the next
and you're
one.
watching Dante's Boxing Nation.